Hey everybody, back for video number 4 of the Inman Connect San Francisco highlight reel, we'll call it. We're going to talk about Thursday, January 31st, and what happened in the morning session, and then some takeaways from the afternoon as well. Thursday kicked off with two titans of the industry. You had Robert Reffkin, CEO of Compass, and Ryan Schneider, CEO of Realogy. And Realogy is Century 21, Coldwell Banker, Better Homes and Gardens, Sotheby's, ERA, a very huge company. And Brad did his best to try and bait them into some sort of confrontation because Compass has definitely acquired some agents from Realogy with really, upfront bonuses and things like that. But they played very nice together. And the biggest takeaway from that session was that they're both focusing a lot of energy on taking care of agents instead of taking care of the brokerages or the broker owners of the franchises. They've got to focus on the agents because that's where the rubber meets the road. That's where they're going to keep their customers happy, being buyers and sellers, and keep their agents happy. So that was the primary focus. And like I said, they got along very nice on stage. A nice hug and handshake, arm in arm, walking off. There was a kumbaya moment. So that was the first thing in the morning. Probably the other big takeaway in the morning was a panel that was talking about pivoting, right? And what does it look like? What does the market look like today? What are they doing differently? One of the agents was Ben Kinney, and I loved what he said here. He said that he's doubling down and making sure that they reach out to all contacts as the expert. They want to make sure that they're making these calls, they're talking to people, past clients, current clients, future clients, whatever it is, they're making tons of calls, reaching out and having direct connection with people. I think he said a line that I've probably co-opted from someone else along the way, but you have to, when someone thinks of real estate, if you're a realtor, they have to think of you. So whenever the topic comes up, you've got to be the person who's been the expert, who's presented information to them, who's helped them when they needed help, who's answered questions. So when they think of real estate, they think of you. That will solve the problem of somebody else who's out there trying to lead generate, grabbing somebody that should be talking to you. Another great point for this panel was, you got to kind of really understand these 3 key things, especially when you get in times of change and shift. One of them is you can't control the market. We can only control what we can control. In fact, I heard Drew Brees say that in an interview this morning from the NFC Championship game. You can't control what the referees do. You can only control what you can control. That's really important in our world too. And then once you do that, if you really can embrace that, you will feel, as she put it, a calm and peace, because you now just focus on the things that you can work on. So if you can master letting go of the things you can't control and focusing on what you can, it will put you in a better place. You'll have more success. And then finally, she said, if you want to find out where opportunity is, because there's opportunity everywhere and it shifts just like the market, find out where all the people are complaining and try to get over there and solve that. If you can do that, you're going to be successful. Her example was, think about 2009 and 10 with short sales. People complained, didn't want to do them. There were others who made huge inroads into that world and made a lot of money helping people in that arena. So let's move on to the marketing track. They were talking about, there was a panel talking about trying to create a personal brand, and really this boiled down to one thing. It's not a logo, right? It's kind of what people think about when they think of you, right? That's your brand. But if you're doing something you believe in, you will be believable. And I love that quote. That was Kara Whitley, the Chief Marketing Officer of Century 21. If you've got to have a passion for it, no matter what you're doing. And if you can do that and you believe in it, you will be believable. So that's a good one. I always like to bring back some of the tools, and this is the day that they talked about that, so I'll throw out a few. If you're not measuring kind of how your social media marketing is going, there were 3 tools that were talked about to measure that ROI. The first one being Square Lovin', just like it sounds, Square, L-O-V-I-N, Social Baker, and of course Instagram Insights. Make sure you've got your Instagram account turned over to a business account so you can really see what kind of engagement you're getting, and I think that's very important. So those 3 were cool. I'll tell you my favorite of the whole conference is Unfold, just like it sounds, Unfold. And it is an Instagram Stories app that allows you to import your images into Unfold on your phone, and it creates extra space. It kind of shrinks down the photo, but gives you these cool frames and borders and lets you add content and context to your images. And then when you're ready, you hit submit, it pulls them into your Instagram story for you. I've seen some people use this in Tampa. Check it out, Unfold for Instagram, I love it. The old standards were there when how do you make your images more professional. You've got Canva, Over, Word Swag is another one they were talking about. Check out those three. I think all of them require a little bit of, you got to spend a half an hour in there playing with it to really get all the details out of it, but those are really good. There's also a GoPro app named Quick, which somebody's using for their Instagram stories. That was on one of the panels. I think that's one to look into. And finally, an app called A Color Story, just like it sounds, A Color Story. It's $25 a year for this app. That sounds outrageous, but when I downloaded it, it is doing something, it's really incredible. So if you really are into images and stories and that sort of thing, A Color Story is an app you got to check out. Of course, Katie Lance was at Inman Connect, and so her presentation was the power of storytelling. And I love the way she put this. The goal of a story, the goal of your marketing, the thing you want to get across is what does it feel like to work with you? So think about that. That's if you're telling me in your story, these are the experiences my customers have had. This is what it's like when I help people. That's going to resonate. That's something that's going to make me reach out and go, I might need to call this person. I'll have a question for them. Or if it's a current client, it's just going to cement that relationship. So once again, what does it feel like to work with you? That should be the question you're answering when you're marketing and trying to let people know what you're all about. Katie also touched on the fact that there are different types of content. There's long form and short form. Long form, podcasts, ebooks, long Facebook Live videos and that sort of thing. And that pillar content then gets supported by short form content, which are Facebook, Instagram stories, tweets, that sort of thing. So if the better you make the long form content, the more it can be repurposed and kind of shared out via different resources. And really, my favorite quote from Katie was, that leads from great content are so much better. And think about it. If you're out there explaining, what it's like to work with you, and you're putting out this great information, the people that reach out to you already know who you are, already kind of connect with you. Those leads are way stronger than any other sort of lead that's just kind of generated without that feeling. So that's my quick wrap up of the highlights of Thursday. I'm recording this on Friday morning. In fact, I've got to head downstairs in about 5 minutes for Capital Connect. I love this session. It's 3 hours of where's the money coming from? Where's the money going? What's the money? What are the money people saying about real estate? So I'll have that wrap up for you later. That'll be my final kind of wrap up of Inman Connect. That'll be video 5. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope these have been helpful, and I will see you soon.